Saiyan MGTOW here with over 9,000 opinions. Welcome to the video. Saiyan MGTOW reacts to Ron DeSantis being discussed by Jon Oliver. Part whatever it is. 7 maybe?
Recently, you might have heard about a book's being pulled from shelves in Florida schools with viral images like these making the rounds online. Now, in classic fashion,
We'll make it through.
DeSantis has pushed back on those images hard.
They tried to create in Florida a narrative. It's basically a book ban hoax. It's a hoax what they're doing. And they're trying to say that because we have parental rights and because we have curriculum transparency, if you have a book that has hardcore pornography for in a library that 10-year-olds can access, a parent objects to that, that does not satisfy Florida standards. It should not be in the library with those young kids. And I think 99% of parents agree with that.
Okay, first, let's debunk the most egregious claim there, because 99% of parents don't agree on anything. I'm pretty sure you can find at least 10% of parents who are against covering electrical sockets in reach of toddlers. They're called zap moms, and they're all about letting kids discover their own limits of electricity. But I will give DeSantis this. There has been some misinformation floating around online. This viral list of books that were supposedly banned statewide in Florida circulated widely, but is nonsense. Having said that, those images of empty shelves are very real and are the direct result of DeSantis' actions, because he signed legislation mandating that only approved books could be included in any school or classroom library, and that approval must come from a certified media specialist. That led some districts, including the ones those photos are from, to tell teachers to remove or cover books, not because they were pushing a false narrative, but because they were trying to comply with DeSantis' stupid law. And what
That last bit is the most important and convincing point on this topic. Why are there pictures of empty bookshelves? Jon says that schools are trying to comply with the law. But are they really? I worked after school at an elementary school for the better part of 3 years. This was in a liberal state, and almost each book had been approved and categorized by a third party. Do I think this was government overreach? Yes. But DeSantis is just doing the same thing. He passed a law that said you have to get all the books approved by a third party. And I can guarantee you that schools did not have a day or a week to do this. I bet they had months to comply. But these schools with the empty bookshelves waited until the last moment in protest and then removed all the books because they weren't approved of, which is the new law. If there were no books with critical race theory, no books with porn, no books with biological confusions like men can get pregnant, etc., in these schools, then this law in Florida would not need to be here. But there are, and it does. I don't think it's absurd for a public school to have to get their books checked out to make sure they're okay. These schools either waited in protest or procrastinated and didn't get it done. They punished the kids for a political stunt. DeSantis is trying to make sure there aren't any more porn books like the others you lefty weirdos have been sneaking into schools for years.
Well, DeSantis might say that this isn't overreaction because those books will return once they are approved. Not all of them. Because thanks to his new law, as well as that Don't Say Gay bill and his Stop Woke Act, he has turbocharged the movement among conservatives to get books removed from libraries that they just don't like. And this goes way beyond removing hardcore pornography or the...
Jon uses air quotes as he says hardcore porn. Is he not aware of Genderqueer the book? The other books showing prawn. Look into it, Jon. Maybe you'll understand why the nation is sick of this crap, and we're not gonna take it lying down anymore.
The usual kind of give and take between parents and school boards that has been going on for decades now. What DeSantis has
Not anymore.
done is make it so anyone in a community
I'm gonna make YouTube videos.
Reporters tracked down one woman who submitted 21 book challenges in one county, only to find that she's a retiree with no children, who fully admits that she hasn't read all of them, but I've read them in partial. So basically, she just skimmed them and said, I'm pretty sure nobody should read this, which is coincidentally exactly how I feel about Jon DeSantis' new book, but I'm not trying to get it taken out of libraries, am I? Meanwhile, this teacher in Escambia County, Florida, challenged around 115 books, among them titles like And Tango Makes Three, a picture book based on the true story of two male penguins at the Central Park Zoo who raised a baby chick together. Apparently, one of her objections to it is that a second grader could read it and the idea would pop into their mind that these are two people of the same sex that love each other. And the problem is, schools are acting on those sorts of complaints. There was a recent school board meeting in that county to address the calls to ban 3 of the books on that.
Some parents don't want that.
The penguin one. Multiple community members came to testify in favour of banning it, and some made it abundantly clear exactly what law they felt empowered them.
I'm not one of those.
I wouldn't even talk about this book except for right and wrong is a clear
This guy
line,
is.
and it's not gray, so it is black and white. It's black and white with the law. When we talk about HB 1557, we're talking about indoctrination. And when you look up this book on Destiny Discover on the schools and county website, the book says this book is about 2 male penguins that fall in love. Jesus said, go and sin no more. So this is against the law. Thank you.
Wow, just think about the work he had to put into that. That man had to shower, put on a pair of pants, decide what shirt to wear, choose the light blue one that's 2 sizes too big, drive to the meeting, park his car, walk into the building, wait a while.
That's not light blue.
Also, they can eventually stand behind the podium and say out loud, as an adult, that he's mad about gay penguins. You almost have to admire his dedication to being such a fucking idiot. But the problem is, that fucking idiot won. At that meeting, the board voted to ban And Tango Makes Three from its schools. And when you take all of this together, the books...
So we all agree that some books are inappropriate for K to 5th graders, right? And so on until age 18. So if we can agree on that, then we have to respect communities to have a certain amount of leeway about what they want their kids to be able to see. It should be a small community decision, maybe smaller than counties, but some counties would be fine as one. And the federal government should swoop in sometimes, like if a library has books on worshiping evil and Satan, and letting 3rd graders watch hardcore prawn in school or anywhere, and they have books that teach that slavery is good and torture is a smart way to get what you want, etc. But there is a line on the other side of the spectrum where a community school wants to have books and teach about something, like for example, that being gay is wrong and God doesn't like it. Where I still think it's wrong to say that and teach that, but I don't think the federal government should step in and arrest people for that or make it stop. Maybe that's a line like outside of a public school. Maybe that's a line inside of a public school, definitely no. Maybe that's a line we're gonna have to fight over as a society later. But there are topics obviously where people have different opinions. Abortion, for instance. Should the government step in or the state government step in if you teach that abortion is not murder? I don't know. That's a slippery slope. But we all agree that sometimes you have to slip the slope of government strong hand. So our society has to keep debating. The gay penguin book cover clearly shows a romantic relationship. Have you ever seen 2.5 Men? They weren't in romantic love together. They just raised a kid as 2 dudes. Maybe the real-life penguins did that. You ever thought of that? Anyways, some parents don't like that shit, and I'm not sure I'm ready to let the government step in on that. Do I think being gay is okay and great and sometimes, and great even sometimes, and natural and not a sin, and they should be allowed to raise kids? Yes. Some people think you should have a marriage license and a child license if you're going to raise a kid. I think that's government overreach again. But again, it's a close call. If it was like a local license where you save $500 a year in local taxes because of it, I could be on board. But it could get overboard and the higher up government would have to step in. That's the problem with these laws. But anyways, government is always a struggle between ideas. How much power is too much power? What ideas are we certain of as a society? See, some people want to openly teach kids that evil is good, and I hesitate to want to use government power on them because as long as they aren't hurting anyone, then why can't they believe and preach about what they want to? But if we allow that and it grows and it takes over a whole state, would the other 49 states just sit back, or would it spread to them? I don't know. Maybe something should have been done sooner, like ban books about how evil is good. Anyways, Saiyan MGTOW here with over 9,000 thank yous for watching the video.